Welcome to the Words to Empower podcast, featuring Bishop Frank Stewart, pastor of the Acts Ministry in Conway and North Little Rock. And now, Pastor Stewart.
He says, having a form of godliness, but denying its power. From such people turn away. He says that in the last days, because this is talking about, if you go back to verse number 1, he's talking about the events that are going to happen in the last days. And he says one of the things that's going to happen in the last days, you're going to have people that say they belong to Jesus, but they don't have any power. They don't have the power of the resurrection living inside of them. In 1 Corinthians chapter 2, starting at verse 1, maybe this is the reason why we are failing to reach the millennials. When surveys tell us that 6 out of 10 millennials have left the church. Could it be that they're looking for more than just words, but they're looking for a demonstration of the power of God in the church? 1 Corinthians, Paul attacks it again in chapter 2, starting at verse 1, and he says this, "And I, brethren, when I came to you, did not come with excellency of speech." It's important that we speak properly. It's important that we're able to articulate. It's important that we're able to speak in public and understand the rules of public speaking. That's important. But he says to us, I didn't come like that, or of wisdom declaring to you the testimony of God. He's saying, I have all of that, but that's not the thrust that caused the apostles to turn the world upside down. He says to us, for I determined not to know anything among you except Jesus Christ and him crucified. Make a note of that, because Paul says, I didn't come to be distracted with your business. All I wanted to know was Jesus Christ and him crucified among you, because he had an assignment and he was on a mission. So he says here now, when I came, I didn't want to know any of that, because in verse 3 he says, I was with you in weakness and fear and in much trembling, and my speech and my preaching was not with persuasive words of human wisdom. He said, I could do that. He said, but in demonstration of the Spirit and power. Could it be that 60% of millennials have decided to leave our churches because we have the excellency of speech, but we don't have the demonstration of the power of the resurrection? And I believe God is saying to us, fix that. Now when he said that, it made me, the first thing I wanted to say was like when Moses said, who me? The first thing inside was like, who I heard that voice. So who do you, think you are? More than that, who do you think I am? Fix that. Do something about it. That's what he's calling us to do, even as a church. And it will go so far outside of these walls because of social media, because of the airways. So much that can be done instead of ignoring it. Paul said, I didn't come with the excellency of speech, but I came in demonstration of the Spirit and of power. That what we was preaching, what we was teaching in our pulpits, the people could see it. Come on. Then he took me back to my teenage years when even though at the age of 13, 14, I was teaching adults because I had the gift of teaching. That's just a gift. God gives all of us gifts. And I just had that gift to teach people in their 50s and 60s, even at 13 and 14. But I remember going to the leadership of the church, and I said to the leadership of the church, I want to resign all my offices. I can't do this anymore. And my reason was, and it even baffles me today that I would say something like this as a teenager. But I said to them, this is not working for me. Because what I am teaching, I'm not seeing. And the Lord kind of dropped that in my mind to let me know that that's probably the way the millennials are thinking and other people, because what we are teaching, they're not seeing. Now, it's a reason why they're not seeing it. Now, just stay with me for a minute, because I got to set the mood for this. One thing that we miss in church is how important mood is. God created mood. You think your husband did because he lit a candle and threw some roses on the carpet. No, God created mood.
Stay tuned for more of Frank Stewart. And now for some special announcements.
Thanks for partnering with the Acts Ministries. We value your service and your donations. That's why we've made it easy to make contributions to support our ministry. Simply go to your web browser and click the search bar and type in actsministriesonline.org. Then click Donate Online. It's really that easy. For mobile giving, text the amount you wish to donate to 501-302-4242. That's Simple Give.
And now, more of Pastor Frank Stewart.
Because God understands the importance of a mood. Get people to a moment where they can understand. Moods are important, right? You know, you can't fuss at me all day and then at nighttime want to get close to me. You can't disappoint me all day and then at nighttime you turn into this lovey-dovey person. And we don't want that just bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. If I can use that, it's kind of coarse, but if you understand what I'm saying, you know, you light a candle or something. Brothers, y'all ain't giving me no help over there. Y'all just kind of, y'all ain't helping me with this. Come on, the sisters are trying to help me. Do light something. You know, get some kind of music. You know, some kind of music. I'm not saying any kind of music. I'm just saying something to set the atmosphere. Not down at the cross where I first. Now, what you first believe, not that. Now, you might see a light. Okay, all right. Let me. I'm just trying to help you to understand that. If you don't understand this, that the whole thing that God did with the tabernacle, the 40 days he kept Moses on that mountain, 960 hours. He didn't need an hour to do the whole the 10 Commandments. 960 hours that Moses didn't even sleep, didn't eat or drink. Totally focused. And he was focused on building the tabernacle, because in the tabernacle, God set a mood. That was the outer court and the inner court and the holies of holies. The problem we're making is that we're trying to rush into the holies of holies and we ain't done our job in the outer court. Maybe y'all get that y'all get that later on tonight. Yeah, y'all get that later on. Okay. Setting the mood. I'm trying to set a mood here so you see this. In Ezekiel chapter 16, starting in verse 49 and 50. I'll give you my subject in a minute. I'll give it to you in a minute. But he's speaking to us. He's speaking to us. And God said something to me that still it just messes me up, because he said to me, you have no idea what you could be. Now, I've always thought my mind was pretty out there. You know, but God says, you don't have an idea what you can be. Then he says to me, I'm going to show you I'm God. I'm going to show you. I embrace that prophecy. He's been saying that to me for years. But we got to learn to embrace what God is saying to us. In Ezekiel 16, in verse number 49, look, God speaking, This was the iniquity of your sister Sodom. She and her daughter had pride, fullness of food, and abundance of idleness. An abundance of idleness. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and needy. And they were haughty and committed abominations before me. Therefore I took them away as I saw fit. When we look at Sodom and Gomorrah, we only think about the homosexuality, we think about the adultery, we think about the sexual sins there. But God lists some other things that were happening in Sodom. And one of the things he says, an abundance of idleness. This is the most distracted generation in the history of the world. With our iPhones, texting, we are so busy we can't do our business. Come on. Be careful grabbing people iPhones, because you'll be shocked what they have used that iPhone at. They have text from places that if you knew if they had text from, because they so busy they even taking in to use the bathroom with them. They texting on the toilet. You ain't got to say nothing. I know you're guilty. An abundance of idleness. He says they're overfed. That means gluttony. And it seemed that something said, there it is right there. There's the prophecy right there. Because he says this right here is going to happen in the last days. Read the Gospel of Matthew. This stuff is going to happen in the last days. And he says, there it is right there. I was outside. He said, look. And I saw a fat person texting. He said, there it is. Two of the prophecies right there. Overfed and abundance of idleness. We know most of our teens and millennials do it, and maybe they're not there yet as far as being overweight, but yet and still we see them abundance of idleness. I wonder what would happen if we would use all that time on getting ready for the ACT or I wonder what. Some of you can't even enjoy this sermon because you're texting now. You have to have your iPhone. You're addicted to it and you don't even know it. No, I'm not saying you got your Bible on there and I might ask you to text something out or tweet something out, but you're addicted to it and it's not in a good way. An abundance of idleness. What is the mood? God is saying, I want you to stay focused and don't be distracted in the most distractible time in the history of the world. That's why we walk around with our keys in our hands looking for our keys. We're distracted. 960 hours Moses was on the mountain and he did not sleep, he did not eat, he did not drink anything, totally focused. You know why? He was getting ready to change the world. If you look at anybody that have changed the world, they were totally focused. Look at Alexander Graham Bell that created the telephone, or Thomas Edison that created, that gave the firmament for the light bulb. He didn't create light, but the light bulbs. So if you look at their lives, they're so totally focused they will forget to eat. And we live in a time that we're so distracted. Have you ever gone on the internet to do something, to do some business, and all of a sudden you done spend hours on the internet just following a little pop-up here, pop-up there, news, and let me leave that alone. I'm getting ready to take my subject, but I need you to focus in on this because my subject today is going to be this. I'll give it to you. Look at somebody and say, don't get distracted. Stay focused. Tell somebody else that. Tell them somebody else. Tell them somebody else. Tell them. Tell somebody else that. Don't get distracted. Stay focused. Because if you can focus, you can do the miraculous. You can move it. You can move society. You can move a nation if you focus. Martin Luther King says being in jail became a think tank for him. Focus. Focus. St. John chapter 21 is some excerpts I need to read from this, and I'll take my subject and I'm almost done. Take my text and I'll be almost there. But you got to hear this because he's laying a foundation for us. I want you to hear what he's saying to us and see how all this fits together. St. John chapter 21, first 6 verses. It says, after these things, Jesus showed himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias. And in this way he showed himself. Simon Peter, Thomas called the twin, Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 others of his disciples were together. Simon Peter said to them, I am going fishing.
For mobile giving, text the amount you wish to donate to 501-302-4242.
The Acts Church in North Little Rock is located at 1224 Franklin Street. Morning Glory begins at 8 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Sunday school begins at 8:30 a.m. And for a powerful word, join us at 9:30 a.m. for our morning worship service. Bible study is each Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. At our Conway location, Morning Glory begins at 10 a.m. Sunday school begins at 10:30 a.m. Worship service begins at 11:30 a.m. On Thursday, our Bible class begins at 6:30 p.m. For more information, go to actsministriesonline.org or give us a call at 501-329-2055.
Thank you for tuning in to the Acts Ministry Podcast. The Acts Church is located at 1423 England Street in Conway and 1224 Franklin Street in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Tune in each day to hear an inspiring word from Pastor Frank Stewart.
Well, friends, that's all of the Acts Ministry Podcast for today. Feel free to go back and revisit and listen to any of the previous podcasts. Until tomorrow, I want you to know, if you're not having church when you leave church, you are not having church. God bless you.
Greetings in the wonderful name of Jesus Christ. My name is Frank Stewart. I'm the pastor of Acts Ministries in Conway and also in North Little Rock. We also have an outreach on John Barrow where we partnership with the city and other ministries there. I want to invite you to partner with us in this ministry. I want to invite you to share with us in propagating the gospel of Jesus Christ. There are many things that we're doing and we're going to continue to do. We have a vision in mind on how to be a blessing to the communities that we're in. So we're asking you to be a partner with us. I believe that God will reward you and he will multiply you. So join us in the Acts Ministry in sponsoring not only this broadcast, but what we're doing in the great city of Little Rock, North Little Rock, and also Conway. God bless you.